Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I'm going to try to answer this very important question. Is Bitcoin oversold? We have come down probably around 10%, a little bit under 10%, I believe. So let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin and decide if it's oversold. So smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. And follow me on social media, TikTok. Pretty soon, I'm going to have a whole bunch of videos on TikTok. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I finally have a strategy. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing good on this fine Saturday morning, afternoon, night, depending on where you are. All right, let's get started. Bitcoin, you can see, fell down probably 10% from its peak and down. It seems to have formed a bottom around 38, which many people thought that was going to happen. And then now it's starting to come back up about 39.5. Can it get back right above to 40,000? Is it oversold? Well, let's take a look. I do have some things to show you guys. But in the meantime, before I get to that, let me just refresh CMC. If you look at today, XRP is up. Exciting, very exciting. It's up, even though it's still at 76 cents. I think it was in the 80s or 90 cents recently. So I don't know how that's calculating. It's up, but everything else just slightly down. Obviously, this past week with more fear. Things sold off a little bit, but let's take a look at what's going on. Well, I mean, in terms of the Russian front, all right, Russian and Ukraine, still, the war, the invasion is ongoing. Excuse me. However, there was a ceasefire agreement to evacuate 2 cities to get the civilians out, but officials say that that's not the case, that Russia continues to attack and the ceasefire is not being followed. So, unfortunately, that is still ongoing, right? And you know what? America, U.S. is urging that all Americans get out of Russia because soon this may get uglier. So if you're American, get out of Russia right now. And I would argue that you want to get out of Ukraine too if you are in there. But that's the latest. Unfortunately, it's still ongoing. And because of it, there will still be more uncertainty until this war concludes. We're really not going to get any certainty. And we don't know when that's going to happen. Okay? Now, Putin did warn, basically saying any country that declares a no-fly zone, right, will basically be enemies of Russia. That's basically what he's saying. So there's a lot of talk about no-fly zone. NATO said that they're not going to implement it, although Ukraine does want NATO to implement it. But Putin basically says, hey, if you declare no-fly zone, then basically you're declaring your enemy of Russia. So that's the latest threat from Putin. So again, it's an unfortunate situation. The world is still trying to digest this from a financial standpoint, from a financial market standpoint, I should say. Still a lot of uncertainty, and because of the nuclear power plant being taken over, and there was some fears about it catching on fire and so forth, that really brought more people, brought a lot more fear to people, and that's why Bitcoin recently sold off because of it, and the U.S. market sold off, and European markets sold off because of it. So, and of course, there's still more companies that's removing their services. For example, PayPal now removed their service in Russia. So Visa, MasterCard already did it. PayPal is now doing it. I don't know if there's any financial app that's open now that's operational. Banks don't have access to send money in and out, and I'm pretty sure, remittance services. I haven't heard about Western Union and and MoneyGram, whether or not they have suspended service, but one after another, every single payment service or financial service is being shut down going into Russia right now. So still more sanctions and more companies joining in on the cause. Hopefully, trying to decrease the wartime basically. But it seems like Putin is ignoring all this. Do you think a nuclear war is on the horizon? No, I don't. Okay, I don't think it's going to escalate to that. But if it does, we'll have bigger problems on our hands. Okay, so let's put things in perspective. If we do have a nuclear war, I hate to laugh over it, but we're gonna have much worse problems on our hands than worrying about U.S. markets and worrying about Bitcoin going up and if it's oversold. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more things to worry about if we're still around, if that happens. So that's the latest. What else is going on? Well, in the world of crypto, a few things. Thought I mentioned this. So Topps, they own the rights to Major League Baseball right now until 2024, I believe, and that's when Fanatics, yes, takes over. But they have just put out a one-of-one NFT of the 1952 Mickey Mantle baseball card. And it fetched 175 ETH to this one person, who then transferred it to another wallet. But anyways, that equates to what, $400,000, $500,000? So big money still coming into the NFT space. Unfortunately, though, Topps will lose their rights. Panini will lose their rights to football and basketball. So Fanatics is taking over everything. And come 2024, who knows what they're going to do, right? It's an interesting thing, very interesting thing. And also, other things that's happening right now, HODL, never heard of this company, but they're raising $1 billion to launch a crypto venture token fund. And guess what they were concentrating on? One of the things is NFTs. NFTs, DeFi, DAOs, right? Web 3.0. No surprise. So again, big money, big VC money is still flowing into this space because overall, we're still very early. We are. And that is why people want to get in early and get in now, especially getting now because of all the uncertainty. While retail investors are selling, the smart money, the big money is diving in and basically getting themselves cheap, I guess, with tokens, with coins, with companies, and building out at this point in time. All right, let's see what else is going on. Well, let's get to some Bitcoin stuff. So let's determine if Bitcoin is oversold. Well, from a TA perspective, okay, and this is very basic TA. If you look at RSI, relative strength index, which measures, Bitcoin's movement, and it determines whether or not it's oversold or overbought, right? And if you look at the same point we are right now, versus previous, local bottoms, let's just call it that, right? RSI is in oversold territory, right? I've been looking at RSI, looking at Bitcoin on, a smaller time frame. And if you look at, say, the 1 hour, certainly we did hit that bottom. And you can see here, if you want to take a look, there we go. You see when Bitcoin hit about that 38,000 mark, right? So right here, my camera's cutting it off here. I'll just shut off my camera. But you can see right here, Bitcoin hit like 14 on our side. This is a very short time frame, 1 hour, right? Now it's starting to come back up, but nowhere near the 80s. Also, if you look at the 4 hour, right? This is pretty clear story, although things can change. Of course, TA, I always throw this out there. TA works until it doesn't, because there's a lot of geopolitical stuff and macroeconomic stuff that could definitely cause people to sell or buy at irrational times. So it works until it doesn't. But right now you can see on the 4-hour RSI also starting to turn back up from about the 30 level, which normally, if you look at in the past, this is the point where Bitcoin generally turns around, right? Sometimes it goes a little bit lower like this, but generally. And if you look at the day, well, the day is not oversold. So 4-hour was oversold coming up, but if you look at a day chart, it's about mid. It's about mid, so it's not an oversold level. But if you keep going, what about the weekly? Well, weekly does show that it is starting to turn above. If you look at not only RSI is kind of flipping above, but another TA indicator is MACD, and you can see MACD is starting to turn pink. So from a weekly perspective, actually Bitcoin looks like it's right on track. It looks like it's actually in a really good spot. And if you go to the monthly, well, monthly is getting to a point around 50, about midpoint. And generally speaking, if you look at going all the way back to even 2015 and then 2019, 2020, some of the previous bottoms that we had, RSI was around 43, 44, and we're right around 50. So we're a little bit higher than those points. So we're not as low as some of those bottoms from crypto winters or black swan events. But overall, if you look at stochastic, we're bottoming out and turning around too. So even from a slightly longer perspective, Bitcoin is looking pretty good. But short term, definitely looks like Bitcoin is oversold. All right, so that is from a TA perspective. But what about from a macro perspective, a longer perspective? Well, here's a really telling story, and Plan C lays it out. Despite everything that's going on right now, you would think that everyone is basically, jumping over each other, trying to sell their Bitcoin, right? But that's simply not the case. So this is actually measuring Bitcoin transfers into the exchanges. So if you were panicking and you wanted to sell your Bitcoin, what would you do, right? You would transfer your Bitcoin into the exchanges. But guess what? It's not happening. The volume into exchanges, in fact, have dropped near to this point where you could see last time Bitcoin started rallying, right? So again, measuring that bottom, measuring that oversoldness of Bitcoin, we're right there. We're right there once again, right? So again, from a bigger macro perspective, there's really no one panic selling Bitcoin right now. The retail investors may be, Wall Street traders may be, but long-term holders continue to hodl, and there is no panic. There is no panic. So, if you compare this to back in 2020, well, this could be the point again that Bitcoin starts going up. And then also, if you look at, just generally speaking, the number of purchases. Well, this one is looking at Purpose Bitcoin ETF, which is the biggest Bitcoin ETF in the world, and it resides in Canada. And you can see that the ETF has actually been adding more Bitcoin. Despite the volatility, despite all the uneasiness and uncertainty, well, the fund keeps buying more Bitcoins. And you know why? Because people are buying more Bitcoin, or actually in this case, buying more Bitcoin ETF, right? So, again, is there really panic right now? No. In fact, you could argue people are taking advantage, thinking that Bitcoin is oversold, which is why they're buying, right? So again, pretty positive overall. And then lastly, this is interesting. This is a new kind of model that's looking at a liquid supply, and they're measuring basically Bitcoin against this inflection point. Okay, and you can see the blue is the liquid supply, which continues to go up. The orange is the liquid supply, the total supply, and you can see how over time that's just getting smaller and smaller as we approach 21 million, and the liquid supply keeps going up, right? Here's the thing though. The one flaw to this model is, out of the total supply, it's not measuring how much has been lost. That's the key. Even though it looks like, oh, the supply is still, even though it's decreasing, there's still a good amount out there. This is not measuring the anywhere from 5 to 10 million of Bitcoins that have been lost forever due to damaged hard drives, due to sending to invalid wallets, or due to anything else, hacks and those hacked Bitcoins being locked up. Also not taking into account of Satoshi's own pile, about 1 million Bitcoins, right? All of that is just out, gone, not being moved, right? So if you add that into it, the supply is not illiquid, or I should say liquid supply. It's actually a lot less, right? But it's an interesting model how it kind of, Bitcoin is hovering right on that I guess that point, right? Following the liquid supply kind of growth. And interesting to just showcase. Anyways, again, this is measuring on a grander macro scale. Basically, a liquid supply keeps going up. Basically, it's saying long-term holders are not selling, and in fact, they are buying, right? So, is Bitcoin oversold? Well, short-term, I think so. Midterm, maybe we get some more volatility because of what's going on with the war, with the Fed. But long-term, oh yeah, definitely, Bitcoin is heading higher. So, definitely a good time to be buying Bitcoin, and I would argue that it's a great time to buy Bitcoin anytime. Despite the up and downs, continue to HODL, continue to DCA, and continue to buy the dips. All right, so those are things I want to show you, and then just a few other little things. In terms of Avalanche, a couple big things going on. Now you're going to have the very first AAA first-person shooter called Shrapnel. They plan on building on top of the Avalanche blockchain. So, you have a lot of games that's labeled AAA, meaning it's like a really, really, really good game. I don't know who actually determines whether a game is AAA or not, but you do have a lot of games now that's trying to move themselves on top of blockchain, trying to integrate NFTs into them. So, coming to Avalanche, very first one. And there is another stake wallet that will allow you to basically stake your Avalanche natively, and you could utilize all the DeFi protocols with a dApp store and also store your NFT. So just another wallet that's coming on top of Avalanche. It's pretty nice. One of the reasons why I think Avalanche is stronger recently. And then lastly, just to throw this out there, those of you guys that live in LA, you may have heard of this, or you may have heard of this news in general. The most extravagant mansion ever built, supposed to be fetching $1 billion. So the guy that was building this ran out of money. Banks wanted him to sell. And then it was going for a $295 million in like a bankruptcy auction sale. And then ended up selling $126 million. And the reason why I bring this up is because the guy was hoping that the mega ultra-rich Russian billionaires was going to be bidding on this. The oligarchs. He was really hoping that one of the oligarchs would, throw out $500 million or $1 billion for this. But obviously, they have problems right now. They have money problems. They're actually selling off their assets because they're all going to be, frozen soon. So I just thought I'd mention that. It was actually mentioned in an article that one of the reasons why it didn't fetch as high as it did was because the Russian oligarchs are no longer able to buy it. So just to throw that out there. All right, that's pretty much it. Overall, we just got to get through. We just got to get through this, right? This is not gonna go away anytime soon. Hopefully, we do get peace sooner than later, right? And then we do have to worry about the Fed. And the Fed and Chair Powell does have a lot of stuff going on. They have to figure this in. They have to figure in what's going to happen with the energy prices, oil prices going up. Man, they got a lot of stuff there they have to worry about, right? But overall, for us in crypto, Bitcoin, I would argue, is always oversold. No, I take that back. It's not always oversold, but it's always a good idea to buy and stack Bitcoin, stack sats, right? Because it will get through this. It always does. It gets through every single black swan and every event that's out there. It always does. And I would argue, especially now, it is the answer that hedges against inflation, that the hedges against economic destruction, hedges against, centralized attacks, right? Basically, it's the answer. All right, let's do some Q&A. Tim is asking, if you are going to take out a loan using crypto as collateral, at what point would you be margin called if the market fails? Well, if you're doing it now, it'll be 50%. Because most loans, you have to put in, you're borrowing 50% against 100% collateral. So basically, Bitcoin would have to fall like to 20,000 before you margin called. Now, it may seem like that's an impossibility at this point. And I do believe that there's very, 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 very little chance that Bitcoin can fall to 20,000 from here. Okay, but I still advise that taking a loan against your crypto is never a good idea, because you are leveraging, basically. You are investing more than what you have, more than what you could afford to lose. And many people that thought that Bitcoin couldn't fall from 60,000 down to 30,000, well, they got a rude awakening, right? It happened. And many people thought that Ethereum couldn't possibly go from, where it was and go down 50% too. So you never know. You just don't want to risk it. Peter Post says Tone Vay's got 8 people at his conference. Where's his conference at? Let's see. Terry says he's stuck at work. I'm sorry to hear that. Someone passed a 2 million SPF sunblock. Yeah. I don't think that's gonna help. Should we DCA into Russia's ruble? No. No. Mo Ali is saying, XRP is doing today. You mean doing good today. F the haters. Okay, yes, it's in green, but come on now. Come on. You as an XRP holder, you just can't be happy. I mean, there's just no way you could be happy. Come on, 75 cents versus its 384 all-time high from 2018. Nowhere close to it. While everything else have formed new highs. Literally everything that you see here have formed a new high in 2020, 2021, and it's way higher than 2018 highs. Yet XRP is still nowhere close to even half of its all-time high from 2018. I don't see how you could be happy as an XRP holder. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. It would be equivalent of Bitcoin forming at 20,000 high in 2017. It'll be equivalent of if Bitcoin was at like 8,000 right now still, right? And it's still less than half of the high from 2017, and still, be cheering it on as if, there's a lot of strength right now, right? That's what it would be equivalent of. That's what XRP is doing. So it makes me laugh when XRP Army is like, oh, look at how strong it is. Look at it going up. When in fact, it's not even half of its previous high from 2018. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Why is XRP pumping? Okay. Do I own BNB or EOS? Not EOS. I own BNB. I think BNB is not gonna go away. I mean, Binance is just way too big. You know, Binance is definitely growing and will stay. People asking about Cardano. Cardano is still fine. Has not been doing well as of late. Ever since it dropped below $1, it seems to have a hard time getting back above $1. It was close. It was like 90 something cents recently, right? But I do think they will figure it out. You know, they just need more TVL right now. Sunday swap added about 135 million TVL, but they need to get that into the billions. But you know, it's still growing and still early for them. Do you think 2017 coins could reach new highs? It depends on what 2017 coins. If they haven't already, then the answer is probably no. But if they have, then the answer is yes. Z says, George, look at BTC dominance for these guys. What do you mean? Like over here or in general? In general, 42.2, it's a little bit higher. You know, whenever there's uncertainty, Bitcoin dominance goes up. But do I think Bitcoin dominance can, you know, peak back to the 60s and 70s as of, you know, like back in 2017, 2018, right? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, the rest of the crypto market has grown. DeFi has changed the game. NFTs arguably have also changed the game. And there are billions, not just billions, not just tens of billions. There's hundreds of billions that's locked in, right? Earning rewards, earning interest, being used on DEXs. And there's many other use cases too. I'm not even mentioning about, you know, synthetic tokens, bridges, you know, lending, decentralized lending. You know, that's changed the game. You're not going to see all that just leave. Unlike 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, when all of those things didn't really exist, or they did, but they just weren't being used. And 2021 really changed the game. So can Bitcoin dominance go up? Yeah, but will it go back up to like the 60s and 70s? I just don't see that anymore. And as all these altcoins get stronger, and you can see the dominance I've listed here, they will continue to go up and eat into Bitcoin, right? I do believe over time that will happen. That definitely will happen. I plan on keeping my BTC unless it drops to 20K. See, here's the thing. If it drops to 20K, you should not be thinking that. You should be thinking, if it starts dropping towards 20K, I better have cash ready to buy. Because even if it doesn't mean that it's just going to drop to zero, right? You know, I never thought in March of 2020, Bitcoin would drop to 3,800. I never thought that was possible. And even back then, it was 10,000. It was at 10,000, I never thought ever that it would drop that low again. I thought 3,000s was gone. That was 2019, 2018. Never thought it would happen, right? But I was able to take advantage, right? Not completely, and not nearly as much as I thought I would. But everyone else that did, right? And it wasn't just Bitcoin, it was Ethereum at like $80 at that point. And everyone else that took advantage, they're all up exponentially higher, right? So, Pika, your mindset should be, if it drops to 20K, it's not that I should panic sell at that point, because that would be not advisable, or yeah, it wouldn't be smart. You would think, how would I sell everything to buy in at 20K? Let's see. Explain KuCoin leverage tokens. Don't play with them. I play with it. It's not worth it. It's not something that you should hold long term. And if you do, you will lose. I tried. KuCoin has these leverage tokens, these 3x tokens. That's supposed to move 3 times as fast as the market going up and down. But, man, due to how they rebalance themselves, you never gain it back. You have to time the market perfectly. If you're trying to hold it long term, you will end up losing. I'll just say that because I have tried holding long term, and even when something has come down and back up to the original point, my leverage tokens were still way less. So, not worth it. Not worth it. USDC or DAI stablecoin, since Tether is supposed to be, what would you use? Yeah, but no one's using DAI these days. USDC or UST. UST is growing by leaps and bounds, and it will continue to grow. So USDC is widely used on most centralized exchanges, but UST is now widely used on most DEXs. So one of the two. And if you have a whole bunch of UST, you stake it in the Anchor. Do you think Polygon will make it in the top 10? I believe so. I believe it will. It will. Dogecoin is collaborating with McDonald's. Yes. Yes. Doge does never go past BTC, my friend. Matt, don't get brainwashed, okay? Collaborating with McDonald's means nothing because no one on earth is going to be spending Doge for Happy Meals or for McDonald's Big Macs, okay? So first of all, get that out of your head. Second of all, yeah, who cares if Elon is funding a Dogecoin SpaceX mission? What is that going to do for Dogecoin? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And getting listed on all the major exchanges, it's already there. Coinbase has it. Robinhood has it. All the millennials that, every exchange that they use already has it. Being listed on KuCoin is not going to help them. Being listed on PancakeSwap is not going to help them. List on Gemini, not going to help them. Matt, it's fine that you believe in Dogecoin, but don't delude yourself into thinking that it's going to be above and past Bitcoin. It's not. In fact, SHIB is going past them. And once SHIB does, because SHIB is actually trying to do something. They're actually, trying to come out with their metaverse, trying to come out with a game. They have a swap. You could stake SHIB. They're building a layer 2. They're coming out with burning, right? SHIB, by far, is trying to legitimize themselves. And once all that comes into play, it will surpass Doge and never look back. And trust me, Elon will flip. I will throw it out there. I don't know how long it's going to take. Right now, I think he feels like he has no option but to continue to stay with Doge, right? But pretty soon, he's going to be on the Shiba bandwagon too. Just wait. Wait and see. All right, I don't know if I got too negative on Matt right there, but, I just had to set things straight. So I'm sorry. But anyways. I'll let you guys go. I'm going to go get some lunch. I am starving. But anyways, so tonight, I heard Sandbox Alpha is out. So tonight I may be streaming that. I'm just throwing a maybe depending on how I'm feeling. So just to throw out there. So I may be doing a stream tonight. But overall, Bitcoin does seem like it's oversold. Does seem like it wants to come back up, right? Someone mentioned MACD flipping over. Yes, that's about to happen on a 4-hour and RSI is flipping up. So from a technical standpoint, it does look like it's oversold. But again, TA works until it doesn't. If there's more fear and there's more selling, TA is not going to stop that, right? But if you look at the bigger macro stuff that I mentioned today, well, they're all indicating that Bitcoin is still strong and holders continue to hold and buy. And that's fantastic. And that's what we really care about, right? So smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys maybe tonight. If not, then tomorrow, same time, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.